HTML. Okay, most, okay, that's good. And by some familiarity, does that mean like you're pretty familiar? Hands up, you're pretty familiar? Okay.
I'm pretty familiar.
More than basic? Like you could write up your own website? Good, okay. So I was going to be going over a little bit of Jekyll, and I think like what we'll do is because there's some like install issues, especially on Windows, this is notorious, especially for Jekyll. There's lots of problems with Windows installations. So I'm not going to be talking about Jekyll in the first part. I might talk about it a little bit. Yeah, I might talk about it a little bit. And then I'll get into like more of GitHub Pages. And then near the end, maybe we can like pair up with somebody who actually has Jekyll installed, and then we can like do some like simple stuff just to use it. Okay, so who has GitHub and a GitHub account? Okay, good, perfect. So I want everybody to get onto GitHub. And so if you go into GitHub, I want you to, so GitHub has, if anybody has used like a repository or whatever, GitHub uses, who has Git installed? Okay, pretty much everybody. Okay, that's good. So aside from the traditional repository that GitHub allows you to have on its website, it also has this concept known as like GitHub Pages, where you can have your repo is basically your website. So your repo has all the HTML and Jekyll, Jekyll things, because GitHub Pages uses Jekyll, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But then you can take the repository and create a website from that. So like a perfect example is our U of T Coders is a Jekyll website that's hosted on GitHub Pages. So the nice thing is it's free as long as your repository is open, and you don't have to pay for anything. So it's really nice to be able to get some like blog out there without having to pay any like fees or getting into any details of like servers and whatever. Has anybody ever tried that, like having their own website through like a server like Bluehost or whatever? Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of challenging because it's hard to work with, and this is much easier. I'll just say that this is much easier. Now, the main difference between hosting your own website and using GitHub Pages is GitHub Pages is known as like just static websites. So you can't get get data from who's using your website. Like you can't have forms where like they type in like your information, and then you can have that in a database on your server. It's just pure static HTML pages. And for most purposes, that's perfectly fine. So let's make one. If you click create, so in the top button there's like this little plus. So create new, and then create new repository. Now you can name it whatever you want. And because this is just like a test, I'm just going to call it like test site. You can just give it a description or whatever. So site for testing of GitHub Pages. And then if you just click create repository. Now, the first thing that you'll notice, though, is it adds up this bunch of stuff. So what I'm going to do is, let's see here. Let's add a README. It'll just say some like basic stuff. So if you click like add README and then just click commit new file, it'll create then the single file in your repository. Now, for most purposes, your GitHub pages will be hosted on the GitHub branch, not the master branch. So a show of hands, who's familiar with branches within Git? Okay, some people. You don't have to really know exactly what's going on. We have a session on that. I think, I don't know if we're teaching it this term, maybe next term. I don't know, but it's been taught in the past. I think there's a video of it online. But I want you to click this branch button and then type out GH pages. And just press enter. So then you'll create a new branch called GH pages. So anything that's here will be put into the website. And if you go to settings at the top.
Does that have a special meaning, GH pages? Doesn't that mean something?
Yeah, it means GitHub pages. So like GitHub, if you have a branch called GH pages, it'll create a website based on whatever you have in that branch. Sorry? What did you say?
GH dash pages, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go back to that. So GitHub pages there. So if you go to settings and then first go to branches and then change the default branch to GitHub pages. And then just click update. Pardon? So the reason why I did that was so that anytime I go into the website, the repository automatically is the GitHub pages. So that's now considered like the master, the main branch, because it's going to be our website. So we want that to be our main branch.
And that's like just for the test site repository.
Yes. It's not going to be for anything else yet. So now if we go back to options, before I continue, how many people have done that? So how many people have a GitHub page and have changed it to default branch? Kathy, do you?
Sorry, I created the GH pages.
Yes.
So go to settings. No, down, right underneath, right under, where, you know where it says my code? Follow along on the right side, on those tabs. It says code, and it says issues.
Yes.
Okay, keep going all the way to the end, it says settings.
Yes, last mention, sorry.
Oh shit. Well, I'll just have to continue. So if you go to options and then you scroll down, it'll say GitHub pages and it'll say your site is published at, in this case, I actually have a domain name, but yours should be something like, it should be something like LW, this is my username. So lwjohnson.github.io/test site. And that should be where your website is now located. It won't show anything right now because there's nothing there. Now, if we want to go to the launch automatic page generator, this will allow you to create themes, kind of like a template. So we just do that. And this will be just like the first page that people will see. So the thing with, so you'll notice that there's like all these like markup here. There's a URL. How many people know what Markdown is? Okay, most of you. Does somebody want to like try to explain what Markdown is? Yeah, you want, Lena?
It's kind of like a shortcut that you have for instead of writing HTML code, you get like a shortcut. So you get, for example, those hash tags where you would use hash tags to indicate header instead of writing a header.
Exactly. It's like a simplified form of using HTML. Makes it so you can write up something real quick and then in the markdown format and then just get it out there. So what Jekyll does, this is the main feature of Jekyll, is you can write stuff in markdown and Jekyll will convert that into HTML. So that's the real kind of power about that, is that you can have all of these things, all of the, like the ability to just, like, don't worry about the formatting and don't worry about like what it'll actually look like. You can just write the content, which is great for like academics, because like oftentimes you don't have to deal with the actual design. We just need to like get our thoughts and ideas out there. But you still have the power of using HTML. So like if you are into design, you still can use HTML, like raw HTML rather than Markdown. Okay, so just go to the bottom and then just click Continue to Layouts. And then it'll show a bunch of templates that you can use. So there's Cayman, there's Slate, and you can kind of see what they look like after they've been rendered through Jekyll. Merlot, Time Machine. So I think I'll do, I wonder if there's any more. I'm going to do Architect. So choose whichever one you want, and then I'm going to click Publish Page. So now it'll say that your project has been created at this site, and you can also see that it's added a whole bunch of files to your repository. So there is JavaScript, there's images, there's style sheets, and there's an index. So let's go to that. So if you go to the website, you now have a basic template for a website. And if you want to add something else, so like let's say, so you see this file that says index.html. This contains all of the main files that make this. So the reason why this is, I don't know why this is exactly, but like in websites, the file that the websites look for when you go to like this path is index.html. Does anybody know why? I actually have no idea. I'm just curious about why that is. What's that?
That's always the case.
Yeah, I don't know why either. Yeah. Anyway, so it automatically goes to index.html. Okay, so let's see here. So if we go to, where is it? Create new file. We're going to create a new page. So like, let's call it about.md. Now Jekyll uses, this is going to get tricky. Well, okay, I'll just try this. I don't know how, because normally I would get everybody to create something on their machine using Jekyll and then push it up. But so let's try this. So create a new file and call it about.md. Have a title, so call it about me. Date, you can put the date. What is it today? 23rd. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
What are the dashes for?
I was just about to explain it. So the dash. So in Jekyll will always, the first thing it'll search for is at the top of the file. It'll search for what's known as the YAML header, and so A YAML header is anything that is in between these two dashes. So you have like 3 dash and then 3 dash, and then in between that is like some data. So this would be considered a data. So Jekyll will see that this is called title and this is date. And so then it'll include that within the website. So you can use Markdown and just type up something like Johnston, PhD student. So then you can just create, do commit new file. Now, if you were to go, I'm not sure if this will work. Let's see. Oh, there we go. It does work. Good. So what GitHub Pages did is it took the about.md file, and then it added it, converted it into an HTML file, and then you can then access it on your website. But the unfortunate thing is there's nothing here that, like, it just looks so plain and ugly, right? Like, why did you use this? It's just... Now this is where Jekyll kind of comes into play. And if you can't, so if you can't do, you don't have Jekyll, maybe you can just see how it looks, or look at somebody else who does have Jekyll. So if you go into terminal and you do change directory desktop, oops. And then do, actually first thing, go back to here, and then where is it? Clone. So if you go back to your GitHub Pages website, and then click clone or download, and then copy and paste that. So there's this little link there. For most of you, it should say HTTPS. I have it set up for SSH because it's a little bit faster, but everybody else you can use HTTPS. So you just copy that, and then you do git clone. Oops. And then enter. And then change directory into that site. And then do Jekyll new. Let's see if that'll work. So let's do rm rf. Does anybody remember how to remove everything from a? Oh. R?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go. Okay, so delete everything. Yeah, right now. Delete everything. So just go into change directory after you do Jekyll new, and then go into the folder, and then just remove everything. Now the reason why I'm getting you to do that is because I'm getting Jekyll to create something, create its template. So now it says new Jekyll site installed in home test site. And then if you do ls, you can see that it's added a bunch of new files at the bottom there. Oh, sorry. Another way of looking at it is, where is it? There we go. Now, just a little bit of an explanation of what these files are. So Jekyll, anything that begins with an underscore, Jekyll ignores. It'll ignore this underscore config file. It'll ignore this underscore post file. But the setup of Jekyll is based on the config files here. So if you go into it, it gives you a little bit of like explanation of what is going on. It tells you like this is the title of your website, the email, the base URL. And if you go to,
Sorry.
yeah,
Slow down a little.
yeah, sorry, yeah, sorry.
I got to get a test site on desktop.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to do something.
So if you did git clone, first off, who's done this? Who's gone through these processes? Does anybody need help? So Kathy, you need help? Right?
So, yeah, just get clone.
So yeah, you git clone, and then yeah, and then you rmrf everything, and then you do Jekyll new.
Yeah, we want to hear when I check the
Make
news.
sure you change it.
Warning.
Yeah.
Something that's everything there, so I don't know if I should. Yeah. Excellent.
Oh, okay, good. So and that's, yeah.
Well,
Space and stuff.
something wrong. Do for Ruby, dash dash.
Yeah, Jekyll, space, period.
So some people have issues. Yes, exactly. So if you want to take a look at what the website looks like, if you do Jekyll serve, it'll, oh. Now I have an issue. This didn't happen before. Damn updates. Does anybody else have this right now? Yes? If you do Jekyll serve. If I do Jekyll build. Okay, well,
Server running.
a way of bypassing this is if we do git, so git commit or git add, and then do git commit
All right, okay.
Jekyll. And git push origin GitHub Pages. So if anybody else is having this issue, if you're trying to like Jekyll serve and it's not working, then just do git add, git commit, and then git push up to your repository. And then if you do that, then if you go to this site, this does not work right now. So this is what it'll look like now. This is what it should have looked like if you did Jekyll serve. But now it's at least online for everybody to see. So I was going to show you how to do it more locally, but it's not working. I'm going to show you some ways of doing it on here. It's sort of like a roundabout way of doing it. Okay, so if we do, so right now, this is a blog post. And so all of the blog posts are found inside of the _posts file. So if you go in there, and there will be this file, it's a basic one. I want you to copy it, oops, and paste it, and then rename. So rename it to, I guess today. Maybe, yeah, today. And then call it like introduction post. If you do that, and then go into the file, you'll see that it has a bunch of stuff. So it says layout post. And so you can add, like, let's say, let's just delete everything. Oh, here we go. So here you can actually just say like a little introduction to yourself. Kind of what we did before. And then when you have time, if you do git status, git add, and add that new post.
So basically, is the whole point of Jekyll, because I wasn't able to connect to yours, being online to install it, is the whole point just to like transfer the formatting over to subsequent pages if you don't just want a one-page site?
Yes.
If I just want a one-page site?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
The other thing I do is I just use HTML, I just import the style sheets.
Exactly.
And then
You can
not
import your own style sheets.
have to
Yes.
fix my Jekyll problem.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
cool.
Yeah. So like you don't have to use Jekyll.
Just actually do it yourself.
Yeah.
With that outcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's some really powerful uses of Jekyll, like for our website. Just as an example, the U of T coders. So Jekyll allows you to like just add these stuff without actually adding it to the website. You just like create a file with like these, and then automatically puts it onto the website. So there's less time for you to just go into like
So you're not
screw with.
editing like HTML.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean by file? Can you show me?
Yes, yes, I can show you.
Like a markdown file.
Yeah, I can show you what it looks like. Okay. Um, so it might help to see kind of what it looks like for like this type of website.
Yeah, like I'm actually curious about like specifically that.
Yeah, so if you go, so every single post that you see here, like intro to SQL and so on,
Right.
is actually just a file. Let's go to, is this right? Oh, I haven't updated it. Anyway, they just look like this. This is what it looks like. You just add it to like as a file,
Yeah.
and then the GitHub Pages will take that, convert it into this,
Right.
put it into a list, so that you don't have to do it yourself.
But they gotta be like in a folder or something.
Yeah, they have to be into the where is it? Into the posts folder. The other thing you can do is include, so in each file there is layouts. So this underscore layout, and you can choose the style of what your like a page or post will look like. So for example,
So you have like common elements.
exactly, without actually changing without actually changing each of the files. So like this would be a page. This is the, oh,
So you create one HTML file and then just continue.
exactly. So like this, in this case, the page says, so this is Jekyll right here.
Yeah.
It says include head.html, include navbar, and so on. And so then that will take, so like, for example, in our lessons, let's say, because you taught basic stats one, right? So here, this is the lesson MD file. See? And see? And it says layout page. And so then Jekyll knows then to take this page, add it all, like put the lesson into this page and then put it on the website to format it as we want. So this would be like, this is like Jekyll tags here. These are Jekyll tags here. So it just reduces the amount of work that you have to do while still maintaining power of the actual HTML and like the actual style of the website. Especially if you put a little bit of work up front in the beginning of how you look like. And there is literally like thousands of Jekyll websites, so themes. So if you go to like Jekyll Themes, you can download like these themes, like these style sheets, and then they all have common elements for pages and for posts. And then it automatically, you can just write. You don't have to worry exactly about what the thing looks like. And then the nice thing is because then you keep it under version control and then use GitHub. And then you can collaborate with other people. So like with our U of T coders, we can all collaborate on this developing site without having to pass around a thing or have like an external server that we then have to like log in all the time. If that makes sense.
So when you were showing the directory for the website, it has way more folders than the test site.
Yes.
Are those created somewhere else along the way, or
Yes. So
like if I'm looking at the test site, I would have got the host site.
I see the Jekyll Themes come from other stuff.
yeah.
I made a site with the theme that had those
Okay, so right now the test site actually has no theme attached to it yet.
No. Yeah. Exactly. So you can go into the to the Jekyll Themes, get one of the themes, put it onto your computer, and then it'll have the layout that you want. We'll was I going to show? Yeah, so then you can include like style sheets, for example, CSS. And then you don't have to have like fiddle with the style sheets in each of the HTML files. You can just have it all under the CSS folder. It saves a lot of time in the end. Does anybody want to just like kind of like pair off and try it out a little bit more? Or does anybody have any questions? I know it was a little brief, but it's hard when like Jekyll doesn't always work. That's the other.
Okay. That's very good. Okay. Can you talk a bit about how you would make plugins work? Like, does each one work? Like, if you have a new feature that you say you want a new feature, do they work like just like copying the code into that template so they're doing special stuff?
Oh,
this one has money, but I never really.
Plugins. So with Jupyter Notebooks?
That's just an example, but I know there's a lot of features that you put on a website that aren't in these.
Yeah. I do know that GitHub Pages really limits what you can do inside of with Jekyll, because if you have your own server and you can use Jekyll, you can do, like, you can run scripts, you can like do a whole lot of other stuff, but like in GitHub Pages, because they're kind of like limiting you to what you can actually do because it's their servers, and they want to be safe, they prevent you from doing certain things. So that's a good question. I don't know.
I think anything that uses like a HTTP like post request where you're like getting information on, you can't do it like you would do on server. They don't let you collect information
Yeah.
from the user. You can only do HTTP. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Is it Lindsay? Were you going to say something?
Yeah, how do I install?
How do you? Who else is having trouble installing Jekyll? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
It's like literally half the people.
It's something like I
Maybe
already
we can
have.
stop it.
I already
Yeah.
have like